You have been told your whole life that happiness is the goal, that everything you do, your education, your job, your relationships, even your hobbies should somehow lead you to that elusive, golden feeling. But let me ask you something. Quietly, honestly, in the silence of this moment, has it worked? Has chasing happiness made you whole, or has it only made you tired? You're not broken for feeling empty when everything around you says you should be fulfilled. You're not lost for feeling numb while smiling in photographs. Maybe the problem isn't you. Maybe the problem is the story you were handed. The story that says happiness is the purpose of life. What if that story was a lie? We've turned happiness into a product, something to be achieved, measured, posted, consumed. And when you don't feel it, when your heart doesn't swell with joy on cue, you think there's something wrong with you. But what if happiness was never meant to be constant? What if it's not even meant to be the point? You see, the ancient Stoics never trusted happiness. Zeno of Citium taught that tranquility, not joy, was the aim. A stable mind, a life in alignment with reason. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." They didn't chase highs, they built inner strength. They weren't trying to be happy, they were trying to be free. And then there's Buddhism, the calm countercurrent to our modern frenzy. It teaches that clinging to pleasure creates suffering, that the more you chase feelings, the more you suffer when they fade. The Buddha didn't promise happiness. He promised the end of craving, a life lived fully in the present, not in pursuit of some emotional reward. Still, you've been taught to keep chasing, that you need to find the right job, the right partner, the right lifestyle to finally be happy. But what happens when you get everything you wanted and still feel that quiet, familiar emptiness? That's not failure, that's awakening. Nietzsche warned against what he called the last man. The one who avoids discomfort, craves nothing higher than comfort, and lives a dull, happy life. He believed that true life begins not in happiness, but in struggle, in facing chaos, not avoiding it. He said, "Give me danger, give me glory, give me challenge, anything but safety, because it's not happiness that shapes you, it's friction, it's hardship. It's standing on the edge of what you can't yet handle and choosing to grow." And think about the most meaningful moments in your life, the ones that changed you. Were they easy? Were they joyful? Or were they brutal, painful, raw, and yet somehow necessary? Maybe you didn't smile through them, but you walked out different, stronger, deeper, wiser. That's not happiness, that's transformation. We don't talk enough about that, about how meaning often comes wrapped in suffering, about how the most honest parts of life, the ones that leave scars, are the ones that give you depth. Viktor Frankl, who survived the horrors of Auschwitz, said that man's deepest need is not happiness but meaning. He wrote, "When a person can't find a deep sense of meaning, they distract themselves with pleasure." How many times have you done that? Reached for your phone, a drink, a hookup, just to fill the void for a moment. Not because you're weak, but because you're human and hurting. But you deserve more than distraction. You deserve a life that actually means something to you, even if it's hard, even if it doesn't always feel good. We've been sold this illusion that the perfect life is one of unbroken happiness, that if you just fix your mindset, cut off toxic people, hustle harder, and manifest better, you'll get there. But the truth is, life is a mess. It's chaos, it's beauty and heartbreak intertwined. It's joy that sneaks in through the cracks, not a trophy you win by grinding every day. There's a quiet kind of peace that comes when you stop chasing, when you stop treating happiness like a finish line and start treating your pain like a teacher. When you stop asking, "How can I be happy?" and start asking, "What is worth suffering for?" Meaning will ask more of you than happiness ever will. It will break you open, force you to face things you've buried. But it will also build you into someone real, someone grounded, someone who isn't swayed by every shift in mood or failure in fortune. You don't need to be happy all the time. You're allowed to feel lost. You're allowed to cry on a Wednesday for no clear reason. You're allowed to look at your life and say, I don't know what I'm doing. Because real life isn't filtered, and growth doesn't always feel good. Sometimes it's more like shedding skin than building castles. And in that space between the pain you didn't want and the peace you didn't expect, you start to become someone new, someone quieter, wiser, someone who doesn't just chase pleasure, but builds meaning. Someone who can sit in silence with their own thoughts and not run away. That's not happiness. That's something stronger. You've been told that happiness is light, easy, always smiling, but some of the happiest looking people are also the loneliest, the most broken. Don't let appearances fool you. Don't compare your insides to someone else's highlight reel. You're not behind, you're not wrong. You're just learning a deeper truth that no one teaches in school or sells in self-help books, that life is not about feeling good, it's about becoming whole. Soren Kierkegaard once said, life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. You might not see the meaning now, you might just feel the weight, but one day you'll look back and realize that it wasn't the happy days that shaped you, it was the lonely nights. The quiet suffering, the times you kept going not because you were joyful, but because you were honest, because you refused to lie to yourself. So if happiness feels far away right now, let it. Maybe what you need isn't more joy, but more truth. Maybe what you need is to sit with your story, your pain, your questions, and stop trying to fix them. Maybe your job isn't to be happy, but to be real. You're not alone in this. Most people are pretending to be fine, pretending to have it all figured out, but you're brave enough to stop pretending. That's rare. That's powerful. That's where real life begins. So stop asking if you're happy, start asking what matters, what you're willing to suffer for, what kind of person you want to become, not just when life is good, but when it's hard, when it's quiet, when no one's watching. You were not made for constant happiness. You were made for depth, for resilience, for meaning. And even if the world forgets that, you don't have to. You don't need to chase happiness like a lost child running after a balloon. It will float in and out of your life on its own. Sometimes it'll surprise you gently, like the warmth of morning sunlight on your back. But when it's not there, it doesn't mean your life is failing. It just means life is being honest. You see, we've confused happiness with meaning. We've built a world obsessed with dopamine and forgotten about depth. But meaning often asks you to do things that don't feel good in the moment, like forgiving someone who hurt you, or showing up to a job you hate because your family depends on you, or facing grief instead of numbing it. Happiness doesn't always live in those places, but dignity does, courage does. You grow in those moments, quietly, without applause. Camus once said, "In the depth of winter, I finally learned that within me there lay an invincible summer." That's not about being cheerful, that's about enduring. Finding a core in yourself that doesn't crumble when life does. A strength that doesn't need to feel good to keep going. Maybe you've felt that lately. The winter, the cold silence of everything slowing down, the loss, the disappointment, the questions that keep echoing back with no answers. You're not broken for feeling that. You're just human in a world that insists you pretend to be more than that. What makes life worth living is rarely comfortable, but it's always real. The child you raised, the friend you stayed up all night with, the art you made from your heartbreak, the way you held your ground when everything inside you wanted to run. These are not happy things, these are sacred things. And when you stop trying to manufacture happiness, you make space for those moments to reach you, unexpectedly, unforced. The laughter that erupts in a moment of pure absurdity, the stillness you feel after a good cry, the small relief of someone truly understanding you without needing to fix you. None of these are part of the happiness script you've been handed, but they're the ones that will stay with you when you're old, not the vacations or the promotions or the filtered memories, the real ones, the raw ones, the ones that made you feel like a human being, not a highlight reel. You've been gaslit by a culture that profits from your pursuit of happiness. Every product, every ad, every 10 steps to your best life course is designed to keep you needing more comfort, more pleasure, more dopamine. But what if you didn't need more? What if you could just stop, not give up, not check out, but stop playing a game that never lets you win? Stop trying to outrun sadness, stop pretending pain isn't part of the deal, and start asking, what is true for me? What actually matters to me, even when it hurts? Because if you're willing to sit in the discomfort, you might start to feel something better than happiness, integrity, wholeness, a sense that your life in all its mess and pain and beauty is yours, not borrowed, not performed, lived. Nietzsche called this amor fati, the love of fate, not tolerating life, not surviving it, but loving it. Even the hard parts, especially the hard parts, not because they feel good, but because they're yours, because they made you, because without them, you'd still be asleep. So maybe the question isn't, is happiness overrated? Maybe the real question is, what do I want more than happiness? Do you want to be wise? Then you'll have to face loss. Do you want to love deeply? Then you'll have to risk heartbreak. Do you want to matter? Then you'll have to sacrifice ease. These are not happy things, but they are beautiful things, soul-making things. Carl Jung said, only the wounded physician heals. That means your scars are not shameful. They are the very source of your power, your compassion, your depth. You don't have to hide them behind a smile. The next time someone asks if you're happy, you don't have to lie. You can say, I'm tired, I'm healing, I'm learning, I'm living something real. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that's better. You don't need a life of constant joy. You need a life you can respect, a life you can stand inside of, even on the hardest days, and say, this matters, I matter. And that, maybe, is the quiet truth we've been avoiding, that happiness was never the point. You were never here just to feel good. You were here to feel everything, to break and repair, to lose and rebuild, to cry in the shower and still show up the next morning, to hold someone's hand in silence when there are no answers, to create beauty out of your own rubble. And somewhere along that way, you find something better than happiness. As you find meaning, and meaning, as stays, even when the happiness doesn't